Are you finding it harder day by day to love yourself? Are you more judgmental towards the people around you? Are you more negative about everything? I don't blame you. I was the same. In an age where celebrity culture is the norm and comparisons are easy to come by, you might find it difficult to love yourself. In an age where social norms of success equals happiness and fame leads up to instant gratification, people like you and I had this clouded judgment on how we should think and act our own lives. We've all suffered some kind of keeping up with the Joneses effect, where we start evaluating our lives' achievements and start comparing them to others. Just because they are rich, for some reason our mind automatically concludes, I must have money to be happy. This is where the book Kindfulness comes in. Hey guys, it's Ernie here, and I'm going to be starting a new series called Books with Ernie, and this is where I give you my thoughts and opinions about the latest books that I've just read. Basically a book review. In this episode I'll be going through the book Kindfulness by Ernie. This book teaches you through the practice of self-compassion and mindfulness to start loving yourself and improve your self-worth. Once finishing this book, you will gain a new friend, and that's yourself. According to the author, kindfulness is mindful self-compassion, and it's made up of three main concepts. Number one is extending your friendship to the person you already are. Number two, be mindful of your current situations and thoughts. And number three, that's remembering that everyone is human and we all share the same problems and faults. I love how Ernie explains the different types of concept of kindfulness. Each chapter gives you real life examples on common issues we all face. Then he shows us how mindfulness and self-compassion can be used to help overcome these common faults. The two main talking points about this book, as I've said already, are self-compassion and mindfulness. I'll be going through these two topics just in a second, but first, if you're enjoying this video so far, please give it a like, drop it a comment, and make sure you subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you know when my next upload is ready. Self-compassion. I'm not gonna lie, I've never heard of this term self-compassion before reading this book. I didn't even know you could be compassionate to yourself, and I thought it was only something that you could only give to others. But this book really opened my eyes on this. In short, self-compassion is the extension of your love to yourself. This can be when we fail, suffer, when we're in pain, or even in moments of joy. Unlike self-confidence and self-esteem, self-compassion is not affected by external affairs. It's all internal thoughts and emotions that produce this feeling of self-compassion. The take-home message about self-compassion is the acceptance of the current self and loving yourself for whom you are. Some people might think, oh, how are you ever going to improve if you just accept yourself for who you are? I was thinking the same thing, but Ernie explains that people who are more self-compassionate are more likely to move on and improve aspects of their lives because they're more aware of their own faults, thus making actions to improve on them. Which makes sense. One of the best quotes of this book perfectly sums this up. Acceptance is an indispensable step towards changing what is possible to change. Once you start accepting who you really are, you finally come to terms with your own limitations and strengths, and you finally tailor the best path towards your long-term vision. The next aspect is mindfulness. Throughout this book, Ernie does again a fantastic job in showcasing the term mindfulness by telling the readers lifelike examples. In short, mindfulness is the technique and practices anyone can do by bringing their attention back to the very moment. Our lives right now are currently being bombarded by constant stimuli from the media that we consume, the phones that we carry, the emails that we check. We start noticing all this checking our phones and social media is slowly taking over our lives. But this book gives you a massive insight on helpful methods in using mindfulness to bring your attention back to the present moment. I'm not going to tell you all the techniques that was laid out in this book, but the one that I use the most is the method where you focus on all aspects of your breathing. In this exercise, you can only think about your breathing and that's it. Once you notice your mind starting to wander about unimportant tasks, start saying to yourself, thinking. This will break your train of thought and bring you back to the moment. By doing this, you actually force yourself in thinking about the here and now. You start to forget about the unimportant events that are still lingering within your thoughts. For a moment, you forget about that really important thing that you need to do the next day. You start to focus on your attention on the things that really matter to you. You start to forget about that negative comment that someone said to you over Twitter. If done correctly, you will be in a state of flow, where your focus is on your breathing and nothing else matters apart from that. By doing these methods and implementing them into your daily routine, I can confirm from my own experience, you start to think clearly. This is the power of mindfulness. With the help of this book, I started to notice these negative thoughts are simply just mental events, and these shouldn't be controlling my emotions and actions, and it shouldn't control yours too. To really drive this message home, the author also mentions how mindfulness has proper scientific evidence that shows mindfulness actually helps with our mental well-being. Once practiced correctly, we can start noticing our stress and or feeling anxious. Thus, we can start acting upon it. I want to say so much more, but this video would be way too long. But the main takeaway from this book is the self-acceptance of oneself. Once you fully understand and accept the person you are today, you can finally start moving on and improve to that higher self. Mindful self-compassion is the key to happiness, and that's the awareness of the present moment and oneself.